Obviously, we're coming off of a landmark season, and the returning players are definitely ready to keep working and building on that season that we had. We do know that we have some challenges ahead of us with having graduated so many key players from last season's team, so we're definitely sort of in that reloading stage of mine, but just from the last couple of practices we had, everybody's working hard, and they are definitely just even more focused than what they were last year at this time on achieving that goal of repeating as ODAC champions. When you look at like our key players coming back, you got to look at Shannon Strasser, so number 15. She's been a solid midfielder for us for the last 3 years. She's coming in as our captain and just ready to lead this team forward, moving forward. She's probably looking to play either going back to sort of her center mid position or even as an attacking mid to get her involved in the attack a little bit more. Counterpart with that would be Elizabeth Washington, who we like to call George. She's a junior. She's been having a dynamite preseason. Is just probably one of the most skilled players on the team, and just really controls the midfield well for us as it goes. We're still working hard to find kind of who our standout goal scorers are going to be, since we graduated most of our goal scorers last season. But the girls are hungry and they're fighting for those positions. I think it's notable to mention we've got 3 new goalkeepers, 3 freshmen right now, and in Alexis Thomason, Allison Bishop, and Emily Witzke, and the battle has been so much fun to watch this preseason. So I think we're going to have a lot of depth and a lot of strength at that position that maybe we haven't had in the past. Our schedule is a little different than what we've ever faced before. We start off right off the bat with ODAC competition, which is new. Maybe not an ideal situation, but I think that it's good for the girls to kind of get right into it, that the games right from the start matter. Not that non-conference opponents don't matter, but obviously it's all about kind of that conference record and leading into, getting into playoffs and making sure that we make at least the quarterfinals and so on. So we start off right off the bat on September 1st with Sweetbriar, who we didn't have the opportunity to play last year. So, we're a year out. We've got, fresh new faces who maybe haven't seen the way Sweetbriar plays. And then we go into Washington and Jefferson, which is going to be a great competition. We always, I feel that we match up pretty evenly with them. And that's going to be an excellent kind of tune-up before we see Lynchburg right in that 3rd game. So everybody thinks I'm a little crazy for that schedule, but I think it'll be good to kind of play them early, get that benchmark, see kind of where we're at and where we can fine tune, because that's definitely a game that we might see that team later on in November. And then just kind of moving forward, we have some good, strong competition with the Capital Conference teams. And then we've added a great trip to Memphis, Tennessee to play Rhodes and Hendricks College. Always very competitive with those 2 programs. And I think the opportunity to kind of see a little bit of, Tennessee, especially Memphis, that's not a place that I think anybody on my team's been before. I've never been there before, so we're kind of looking forward to that trip and getting more than just 2 wins out of that. So our goals for the season are definitely, especially right now, just the beginning part of it, because we're about half and half with new players and returning players, is we're really just working hard to kind of find that gel, just getting that flow together, getting the players to work consistently well together on the field and get everybody comfortable and trusting one another. So that's a big part of it. I think as we get further into preseason, we can really kind of start identifying what our strengths and weaknesses are and where we can go. I think, of course, the overarching goal, being the reigning ODAC champions, is we definitely want to get back to that ODAC final game. We were there in 2014. We want to make sure that we do everything that we can to get us in that position to battle again to kind of retain that title. This team, though, they very much want to take each game one at a time. So they want to look at our first opponent, focus on Sweetbriar, win that first game, move on to the next game, move on to the next game. So we're also trying to kind of simplify and look at our goals as one game at a time, sort of thing. I think when it comes to ODAC competition, it's going to be a tight field this year. There are so many teams that could potentially come out on top, and we definitely want to be one of those teams, and we know we have to work hard to do it. I think you're looking at Washington and Lee, who just came off of a great season under their new head coach, Gina Willis, and they're going to be strong. They didn't graduate a whole lot of players, so I think if they come back all healthy, they'll be battling. Lynchburg is always going to be battling for that top spot. I think you've got to include us in there. Randolph-Macon has a new coach, so she may be changing some things around. Roanoke's got a great senior class and some good leadership in there. So I think the ODAC's going to be tough, and I think that we have to make sure that when we get into October and we're playing the bulk of that schedule, that we have fine-tuned everything and we're ready to rock and roll.